Here we go. All 5 lights are lighting up. On the front row, we have Jordan Vegas. Let's see how they go as all the lights go out.
I got no sound.
Very clean start. The smoke kicking up in the background. No contact so far. Everything's as clean as you can be. Max has taken Gooby. It's a little battle between the two of them. No issues. Oh, the Force India runs a little wide. Ferrari's gone on the grass. But Vegas and Jordan's about to enter the corner. Vegas maybe get the... Is he going to get the inside? No, I think so. I think Jordan's going to hold out for now. Oh, Max gets on the sausage roll.
Max is comfortable there in a second. Why have I got no sound?
Oh, there's a little bit of something happening in the back. Look at press escape and press escape again, by the way.
Really? Okay. Oh yeah, there we go.
So Fairball is down in P7. He seems to be having a bit of an issue, if I'm being truthfully honest. The way I keep seeing his car weaving around, it's either he's trying to dodge people or he's struggling, but one of the two is happening. But Vanier, who started in dead last, is up in P8, so he's had a pretty good solid start, and it looks like he's going to be making a move on Fairball. He's got the inside, he had to back off. Don't blame him for that at all. Oh, Fairball's made a mistake. Vanier's through. Come on, Vanier. John's also through as a result of that mistake, so bad news. But
oh, on the rear of Gooby.
They're battling again. Sorry to interrupt you. John and Fairball are battling again. But just want to point out real quick, look at P3, Max Thorne, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the rear from there. Why is... Sorry, I'm trying to sort out my shit. Change that.
So looking at tyres, Vanier and Beaker are both on the super soft tyre. Obviously only a lap old, so they're on different strategies to the rest of the drivers. Also, they're on different strategies to their teammates too, so hopefully there shouldn't be any hold-ups as a result of pit stops. We should see some good things happening. But everyone's... Sorry, go on.
I was saying it's all a bit tight, there's only a bit of gap. Yawn is nearly 2 seconds behind Vanier, but Vanier's quick. Yeah,
I'm not seeing anyone who looks like they're in any sort of position to be able to make an overtake at the minute. Obviously, we don't have DRS until the start of the next lap. But it's still early days. We do have 29 laps in total to watch, so we've got a lot of racing action for you all. Oh, as Max has gone wide. He's crashed! No! Vegas!
Although, let's be honest, if there's one person that's going to crash on lap 1, it was going to be Vegas.
Yeah, but I was hoping for bigger and better things out of him. That's such bad news for the Renault driver, so he'll be finishing in dead last, meaning he's going to get the 1 point.
Oh, he's left session already. Oh, he's not happy.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him not come, for him to stay off of F1 for the rest of the night after that.
Right, where else is things happening? Vanier's on the rear of Fluff.
That's sorry. Go on.
Gets out of his way.
Vanier.
Pass.
How is Vanier doing this? He's started in dead last. He's already climbed 6 positions to get up to P4, and he's not actually that far off of Beaker. Vanier has got the drive of a lifetime to do, and he's doing it. To make things even more interesting, he's doing it on super soft tyres. He's tearing the back field apart on slower tyres. That's phenomenal stuff to even imagine.
Fluff is still on his tail though. He's got... Oh, it's lap 3, so DRS has been enabled.
It has. And we're about to see a DRS section as well.
Assuming no one else goes out on this corner? No. So here we go, Flash got DRS, but I think he's just doesn't have it through there.
Vegas says, just noticed it was 50%, not doing that, lol, need my sleep. That's his excuse for crashing out.
So Gooby's on the tail of Fluff. Gooby has DRS, Fluff has DRS as well. Yeah, 100% legit Vegas. Intentional. I saw your crash. You were just shocking. And that's putting it nicely.
So, getting back to the race, Beaker is in P3, and he's only 3 tenths behind, but Samurai's got a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He had to have a front wing replaced.
He seems stopped.
He's on...
the same for you? He's just stopped short of his pit box.
No, he's in the pit box on my screen. And he's away now. So he's going to have to serve another stop. He's going to have to serve the stop goal later.
Beaker on Max. Beaker on Max. Go on the outside of Clark. He's done
it. It looked clean. I mean, Max did ride the curb, but Beaker didn't force him on the curb. And now Vania is trying the same sort of move. He's going down the inside line. This is the difficult overtake zone because everyone makes mistakes here. Oh, the first cylinder in the back of Flaff was making a little bit of wobble, but he's held it.
Vania's going to have Beaker.
He's trying again?
Looking.
How is he doing this? Vania in P3 on the Super Softs is about to make a move to take P2. He's going to have the slipstream, he's going to have ERS and DRS as we go down the home straight.
Flaff's also, well, was on the tail of Max, but I think he's off a smidge there. Team orders in play.
Oh, I think Vania's playing the smart, you know. Yeah, he is. He knew if he was to overtake him there, that would give Beaker an opportunity to come back on him. Yeah. Whereas now, he's going down the outside. He's chosen this. He wants the inside line for the next corner. And he's got it. Oh, but Beaker's on the sausage roll. Max Thorne takes P3, but he's gone wide. Oh, he held that beautifully. I thought he was going to go then for sure. They're so close.
Oh!
Yeah, there was a little bit of a connection issue there, yeah. But now Flaff's trying to go around the outside of his teammate. Clean as you like, he's done it. But now Max will have DRS. Sorry, carry on.
Not yet. DRS detection is coming up.
But he'll have it. Look how close he is. So it's activated now. He's not using overtake button. Oh, he's going for the inside. Oh, he's held it. Flaff lost a bit. And do you know, to be honest, I think Max saved him. I think Max saved Flaff there because Flaff looked like he was about to lose the back end, but Max gave him a little kiss of life to bring his car back out in front. But
Flaff lost place to Gooby, who's now on the tail of Max. Max doesn't have DRS to defend, but Gooby has DRS to attack. Here we go.
Flaff also has DRS, by the way.
I was looking at Max.
He's going down the inside. He's going to get cut off. Oh, he backed off a bit there. Oh, Max is wobbly. Max is losing the back end. This gives Gooby an opportunity.
There you go, 3 abreast.
Oh, wow. Look at Flaff. He's coming in.
Gooby takes it. Max behind him, followed by Flaff.
Flaff is just eyeballing his teammate. Oh, there was connection there with the wall for sure. Did Flaff lose a bit of his end plate? No, it's all good. His front wing's still intact.
Max sliding around those corners. He's on the tail of Gooby here.
He's going again. Max is trying it down the inside. No, he can't get it.
Gooby left in space though.
He did. And look, Max's car is all over the shop. Flaff though, he is so close to the back end of his teammate. He's just lost a lot of time because he oversteered so hard in the first of those S turns.
Here goes Max. Will he dive? No, he thinks better of it.
I think he's waiting for the next DRS section, if I'm being honest. That's what I would do if I was in his shoes. I would wait for the next DRS section and not touch the gravel though. That's what I would say.
I've got a helicopter camera.
Oh, Gooby!
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
It's alright.
Gooby somehow managed to, even though he made a mistake, managed to build up quite a large gap between him and Maxi. Oh, Maxi's all over the shop. Fairball's gone! Fairball's gone! Where's that?
Samurai's really struggling.
Yeah, he's at the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is really struggling. What's happened there? Has he lost his front wing? I lost part of it.
Yeah, he's lost his right end plate.
Oh, but look. The wall of death has claimed both Renault drivers.
Furball, retire your car, please. You are in the way, and there is no ghosting. Get the car off the track.
But meanwhile, back at the middle of the pack, Max thought, oh, Flaff has gone! Oh, he's still alive though, somehow.
Furball, can you message Furball, tell him to get rid of his car? It's gone.
Yeah, be gone now. But Flaff made a big flaff for that one, didn't he?
I didn't see it.
He flaffed it.
People coming towards the car.
to think that we're only on lap 7 of 29 and we've already had this amount of action. It's only a matter of waiting for the pit stops to happen and then we can see what happens next. So, Samurai is in the pits, by the way. He is serving his 5-second stop go right now. And he's going to go onto the super soft tyre.
Wrexham, pretty nice.
Stop reading, chat. Focus on the race.
I'm doing everything. I'm multitask man.
Oh, Flaff almost got a speeding in the pit lane there, but he locked up.
Max got held up though.
Yeah, look, it's affected Flaff's pit stop. Look, they weren't ready for him. So, especially with having a nose change as well. He's gone on the soft tyres. He's got a lot to do.
They're both on softs there. Gooby's gone on the supers. So we've been concentrating a lot on the mid pack at the moment. It's just worth mentioning. Jordan is currently leading. He's on 7 lap old ultras. Try saying that after a few. So he might be looking to pit in the next few, just to get rid of those. Get a longer lasting tyre.
Oh.
Jordan is also on 7 lap old ultras.
Did you see the mistake that John just made? It wasn't a huge one, but he went wide. Vania, though, is still continuing on this charge.
Jordan's in the pits.
So, let's see what he goes for. He's obviously going to have to do a 2-stop. But he's gone on the softs. I suppose he could make it to the end of the race on those tyres.
Has he got a penalty?
Who, John?
They're just really slow.
It wasn't that slow for me.
No, they're released. They get released, and then it's a pause, and then they're suddenly on the track.
But that does bring Vania up into P1 now. Obviously, he does still need to pit. Him and Beaker are the only 2 drivers who've not yet pitted. They are also the only people who started on the super soft tyres. So I'm not expecting them to pit for a little while yet. I reckon another 4 or 5 laps before they do attempt it. Question is though... What?
Sorry, Samurai's just come out right behind Yawn. Yawn's come out right in front of Samurai, but they're...
He's a lap behind. Yeah, he's a lap behind. So even if Samurai did manage to get the foot down, he's going to get blue flagged straight away to get back out of the way. So, it's bad news bears for Samurai. He's really having a bad time. Max has pitted. He's already on the softs, but Max is really finding this track difficult. He's got a really unstable rear end on this track.
He's pushing it to the extreme. That's all he's doing.
I think Max is one of them sort of drivers who's quite an emotional driver, and he feels like he's got quite a lot to prove. So he's pushing himself so hard that I think it's causing him to make mistakes.
Like that.
I think that wasn't too bad. It was pretty clean.
He did go a bit deep in after 11.
The problem is he's sending his car out of control, but keeping it in control. But because he's doing the way he's doing it, he's...
Sector 3 yellow.
Yeah, that's Samurai. Samurai's gone.
I think Samurai's about to retire.
He's lost his full front wing again.
Is that front wing?
That's the end of the... No, that's his front wing. That's the end of the S turns, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think this will be his 3rd front wing now. So it's not looking good for Samurai. But given the fact that he was a stand-in anyway, I think he's...
At the end of the day, all he's got to do is finish the race, and he'll still get points.
Well, I get points. Oh, yeah, those 2 drivers at the bottom won't get points, will they?
Don't know, will they? They're technically in the top 10.
Yeah. But I thought if you DNF, you don't get points. I could be wrong there. We'll find out. We'll find out at the end of this race, I guess.
It's in official racing, irregardless of if you DNF on the first lap and you're actually in the top 10 when it finishes, you still get points.
So things have calmed down now as a result of crashes and incidents. So we have now got Vania up in P1 with Beaker following closely behind. They do still need to stop. They are both on the super soft tyres, which they both started on. Jod has already pitted.
Oh!
And what?
Sorry, Max just had a massive wobble out of turn 12. I thought he was going to bury it.
He's alive though.
He's still alive. Right, keep going, sorry.
Not a problem. Jordan has already pitted, but is on these soft tyres. He is close enough to be able to get up into the top 3. Back onto the podium position when the top two drivers pit, but it'll be whether or not Jord can maintain his tyres to the end, because I'm going to be honest, I think Vanya and Beaker, they're going for the one stop, and I think they'll go on to the soft tyres once the super softs run out. Also, we have news from Jennifer, who's on the racetrack, that Kyle Dinnan 24 has followed the stream. So thank you very much for that follow, Kyle. Back to us here on the caster bench.
I think we need to get your man Vegas in to talk through that crash.
I don't think he'll do it. We can ask him.
Let's try it.
I then tab out.
Vegas, if you're here and want an interview, you know where we are.
Why can't they implement Discord overlay on F1?
I didn't notice that they haven't got it. I don't think it's quite official just yet. This is still quite new, isn't it? Oh! I can't be on board with Max anymore. He's going to give me a nervous breakdown.
He's pushing his car to the raggedy edge. Raggedy? Never mind.
No, he's pushing his car to the max. You can push your car to the raggedy edge. So 3 yellow. Flaff is backwards.
He is.
Oh, he's come out of turn 12 but survived.
He hasn't. Is there any damage on that front wing? I think there might be an end plate on the right hand side. No.
Yeah, right hand side's gone.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Massively.
He's alive though, and that's what matters. He's still in an opportunity to get some points. He just needs to maintain the grip. I think that's his issue. Is everyone seems to be struggling on the exit of the S turns. It's like they don't build their setup with that in mind. So, Flaff in the pits again.
They should ease off slightly. I'm getting messages, hang on.
Oh, that's interesting. Flaff has gone onto the ultra soft tyre. So, he's obviously not going to be able to make it to the end of the race on this tyre. It's whether or not he's going to be able to climb back in the position. So, we'll come back to him later as Vanya has entered the pits. So, let's see what strategy he's planning to do. He's gone on the softs. I called it well. So that he does appear to be going for one stop. Beaker has also gone in and also done exactly the same. So they both staying on the soft tyre. Jordan has reclaimed P1. So now Vanya and Beaker have got it all to do. A lot of work to do if they want to take Jordan again. Jordan's just building that gap even higher than he was before. Now almost 6 seconds behind is Vanya. So now, having the crashes and having all the incidents and seeing how the qualifying and the first half of the race has gone, what's your predictions for the end of this race?
Bloody hell.
It's hard, isn't it? It's difficult.
I think the top 3 are set. It's going to be those 3. What positions? Don't know. After that, it'll depend on Max. Max can get P4, but he's got to not put it in the wall.
Yeah.
Or in the rear of the car in front. Jorn was catching Max, but I think he's just eased off slightly. Oh, Max kisses them all there. So I don't think Jorn has got enough to catch Max. So he'll probably bring home P6 or whatever's left, and then Flaff.
Oh,
and Samurai
sorry to cut you off there, but Samurai got blue flagged to get out of the way of Jordan's way, and he cut right across him. So both Mercedes drivers almost having a collision.
They're not in chat together. Only issue.
But
if you fancied old tabbing, we do have an interview.
Who is it?
Furball.
Furball.
He is available.
Can I dare not alt tab?
Where's Vegas?
I'm not going to alt tab. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So race control has come in and given us FIA ruling in that in accordance to the DNF and getting points, a driver has to cover a minimum of 90% of the race distance to be classified. Anything less will be counted as unclassified and will not be eligible for points. Yeah. Thank you for that race control, Raven Duck. So it does now appear that Fairball and Vegas will not be getting any points. So that's horrific news for the Renault drivers.
You sure it's 90%? That I thought it was 70% to be classified in the race.
Well, either way, they're not getting points.
No.
That's what matters.
Especially Vegas.
Flaff, though, has just set a 1:24.0, which is currently the fastest lap.
Vegas getting, not Vegas, Samurai getting out of the way by sitting on the apex. It's not really the right place to park your car.
He's trying. That's what matters.
He's trying. There are better places, but there are much worse places to park a car, I suppose. Like sideways in the middle of the corner.
So, looking at the fastest laps here, Jordan's fastest is a 1. So I'm not really counting Flaff's at the minute because in order for him to get into the higher points scoring positions, he's going to have to pull off a miracle, to be quite frank. But Flaff does hold the fastest lap currently of a 1:24.0. But looking at the top of the pack, so you got Jordan who's on a 1:24.2, which is the fastest out of the remainder of the drivers. And Vanier is the next fastest on a 1:24.5. So if they were both running at optimal speeds, based on their fastest laps, Jordan will continue to build a gap. But Vanier is not one to give up so easily.
There's not much battles going on. There's about 3 and a bit seconds between the vast majority of drivers.
So gap from leader. Samurai has been lapped twice as a result of multiple collisions and mistakes. Flaff is a full minute and 12 behind George. I think George's actually not far off approaching, but Vanier must have heard us talking because he's done a 1:23.9, so he is hunting for that position back. He's brought the gap, which was almost 6 seconds, he's brought it down to 3 seconds since, well, about 3 laps ago, so he's killing it. But John, it's a 5-second start-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But let's see. So he's gone on the super soft tyre, actually, has John. But he is going to have to pit again in order to serve his penalty. That is bad news. But Flaff could actually get an extra bit of points here. He is 50 seconds behind John. But if John has to pit again, unless Flaff makes another mistake, he could actually inherit a position. Which would be good news for Force India because they're looking a bit sort of lower tier drivers at the minute. But meanwhile, Red Bull are set to be leading very well at the end of this. Race. My apologies for the Constructors' Championship. I've just had some news regarding Vanier. Vanier is chasing Jordan, as we know, but he is pushing his car as hard as he possibly can. So much so that he is now only 1.4 seconds behind.
Yeah.
The question I have for you is, do you think he's going to make it to the end of the race with the tyres that he's currently got? Is he not pushing it maybe a bit too hard and opening himself to a potential failing? We have seen this before from Vanier.
I reckon he's got newer tyres than George, 4 less laps. So I don't think it's going to cost them that much. And they're probably going to change on to ultras anyway if I was them for the last 5-6 laps. So take out as much as you can.
Yeah, I guess so. I think, to be honest, as long as he has only around about 4 laps of absolute pushing it to the edge, I think he'll be about on par with Jordan's tyre wear as it is, if I'm honest. So, just to recap, as everything seems to... What's happened?
Sorry, Vanier just touched the grass on 12, and you just sort of see them steering towards the wall like, no! And then he recovered it. That was great driving.
It was fully intentional.
Just to scare the shit out of the commentators.
Just want to point out, though, George is now in danger of having an overtake done on him because Vanier's got the DRS. He's not using his full ERS though, but he is coming in hot.
He's set it down to 1. He's going to save it for this one probably.
I don't think he is. I think he's going to hold on to it because he's only got 36% of these ERS. He's going to try and build it up because he knows he can't take him here. He's got a lot to do. Gooby.
Another stop-go penalty.
Yeah. So Gooby's gone in the pits and got onto soft tyres now. Let's see how that pans.
Gooby, you did speed.
Yellow flag, sector 1. Samurai's gone. So that is... It's all down to Jordan to hold the points for Mercedes.
No. Jordan attack that curb, but...
Look how close Vanya is now. We've got some good hard racing about to happen. Let's see what can happen as we enter the S section. Is Vanya going to make a mistake on the exit? No. With DRS wide open and his overtake button gone, he's going for it. He's down the inside. George just moved over and let him through. I don't know if Jordan's playing the long game.
Contact.
Doesn't look like it because Jordan's going down the inside. But he's going to be on the outside for this next corner. He knows he's got to back off. But it's not over yet because the DRS section is about to happen. And Jordan is definitely going to have DRS on the exit of this corner. So, Jordan now, he's on the overtake button as well. He doesn't want to let this go. He's switched to the... Gooby gets another time penalty. 3 seconds. Samurai's in the middle of the track. Samurai!
Get your car off the track, man. You just cost Jord about half a second.
It does happen there. In fairness, it would have been a safety car otherwise. It should have been a safety car anyway, really. He's bang slapped in the centre of the track. But now he is outside of the 1 second DRS gap. He's got a lot to do if he wants to try and maintain that gap. Oh, he's brought it back in. But it's not these corners he needs to worry about. He needs to try and get a comfortable gap closed before the S turns.
Samurai, can you get back in the game and remove your car, please? It is in the middle of the track. Right, back to racing.
Has the car gone? I think it has.
Don't know, we'll find out in a second.
Alright, so Jord is 1.4 seconds now behind Vanya. So Vanya is very comfortable out in front. He needs to just maintain. But I think Jord is actually pacing himself because he's put his ERS mode in 0, meaning he's not using any of it. He's obviously trying to build it up to be able to utilize... Oh, he's put it back on 3 there, interestingly. Don't know what...
He's outside the range.
I don't think... No, number 3 is actually quite a good mode to put it on if you want to be holding quite a quick pace. So let's see what he tries to do. Max has got a 5 second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is frustrating because he's been putting some good work in these 11 laps on the softs. He's now on the super soft. He will be on that tyre for the rest of the race. But if he's got 5 seconds stop-go penalty, that means he's going to have to pit again, isn't he?
Oh,
Max has lost.
Max has come out right behind Gooby.
Gooby managed to snatch that position. There's a random wheel in the middle of the track. I don't know if you just saw that.
Yeah. I don't think that's affecting anyone. I've seen people run over it.
But now, looking at the gaps on the top 3 drivers, so Vanya is on 7 lap old softs, but he's built up such a gap now that Jordan is 2.8 seconds behind. Flaff also has a 5 second stop-go penalty now. We knew he was going to have to pit.
So Max is going to make a move on Gooby in a second. Looks down the inside, thinks better.
So many stop-go penalties for people who just keep speeding in the pit lane. Oh, look how fast Max is going.
It's had to ease off though, you can't overtake through there because it's just so fast.
But he's in an opportunity now where he might be able to make some moves. DRS wing wide open. He's not using the overtake button, but he's got the inside line. Little contact, but nothing too much. Oh, bigger contact that time. Is he going to send him spinning? He's sent him off.
Yep.
Gooby's off the track. He hasn't had any damage, but that was a bit risky there by Max. I think it was just they got a bit... Once there was a first collision, I think they both overcompensated and then just sent each other going a little bit. But Gooby
lost 2.
Gooby did lose 2 places out of that, so bad news for the Red Bull driver, but great news for the Force India driver because he's the only one at the minute in a really good position for points. Because Flaff just seems to be having a horrific time on this track. I don't know if it was a setup issue or if it's just he's not comfortable on this track, but he's got a lot to do, and I really get the impression that he's just trying to play survival as Max has gone off. He went off the track, but he was still in control, so now he's just going to be looking to maintain his position, because if we're being realistic here, he's 32 seconds behind Beaker, who's on the soft tyre, and with only 7 laps to go. In order for him to get into a good position, he's going to have to do something miraculous, really. Both Force India drivers need to pull off something miraculous if they want to gain some high level points here. The way that Max takes those S corners is scary to watch.
Pant filling is the word.
It really is. It really is.
He's good when he gets it in the right place, but he's very aggressive, isn't he, Max?
He is.
He clips the corners to as far as he can without getting penalties. And then until there, that's a bit of an overclip.
Oh, Gooby. I'm just watching Gooby because he is now within the DRS range of John. And I'm expecting to see that position swap between Gooby and John again. Because Gooby did have some incredible pace throughout this track. The only thing to bear in mind, though, is that he needs to put the hammer down in order for him to get some good points. Because even if he takes John, he does still have penalties. And I'm not sure if John has any penalties, but I don't think he has as many as Gooby does. I think Gooby has around about 8 seconds. So he's got to build up quite a large gap in order to make that stick.
Obviously, I don't know if they've served these penalties.
The stop-go ones they will have.
Gooby has a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, which is even track limits. Stop-go for Max and Flaff. Max has got a warning for corner cutting on lap 22, so that's just happened. So they've obviously removed the stop-goes that have been served, or 5 seconds that have been served. Gooby got one for speeding a bit length.
But just to bring your attention back to the race, Gooby has got DRS and he's really close to the back end of John. He's going down on the inside of the next corner, but he's got in front of him. It's whether or not he can maintain that gap. Oh, he took a really sharp line on that first corner there, but he's done it. He's made it stick. He's got DRS again. But John looks like he's going for the inside. No, he's backed off. He knew he wasn't going to make that happen. So
you don't always try and make it happen, you just try and put the driver off, don't you? Make them make the mistake.
So, the strategies today have been quite interesting. Vanya and Beaker seem to have been the only ones who really had a very and Jordan, sorry, all 3 drivers had a very clear-cut driving strategy, and so far it's worked better for Vanya than it has for any of the other 2 drivers. Unfortunately, the rest of the grid, their strategies got torn to shreds as a result of the incidents further on. Oh, Gooby's gone.
Oh.
Did you see that? Gooby was struggling there.
I'll be back in a minute. I need to change my underwear.
Yeah, don't blame you. I think Gooby wishes he could do that. I wouldn't be going near that cockpit anytime soon.
That corner just catches so many people out because it is so fast and it's not that wide.
But John now does have DRS on the home straight. He's put it in the overtake button, but he hasn't got a great deal of ERS in order to use. So he'll probably be putting that back down into a lower amount. But Gooby has a lot of ERS available and he's put it in quick mode. So he's not going to be... John's going to really struggle to be able to keep up with Gooby. If Gooby makes any mistakes, then John will take him. But all that Gooby needs to do is just be consistent. He doesn't need to do anything miraculous.
8-lap-old supers, so they could be hitting the cliff maybe in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, John needs to be careful he doesn't push it too hard, because if he pushes it any harder than he already is, then he's not going to make it to the end of the race on those tyres.
So I've got a question for you, Charlie. Is Max Thorne and Gooby incident under investigation post-race?
I think, if I'm being honest, no.
No? Okay.
I'm going to write that one off as a racing incident because
Fair dues.
the way that they came together, it was like Max was on the inside going into the right-hander towards the second to last corner. And in fairness to Max, he gave him plenty of room. There was a moment where Gooby ran a little bit wide, he came back on the track, and both cars sort of like just tickled each other. But that destabilised them both enough, because obviously they were pushing really hard. It destabilised them enough a bit to then break away from each other. Then they countered it, both at the same time, came back in again, hit each other a bit harder, and then Gooby was the one who lost out because he had no road left to run off onto. So I'd say it's a racing incident. I don't think it needs any investigation. I think they're both as equally to blame in my opinion, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
So there you go, straight from Charlie Whiting in race control. Thank you, Charlie.
Welcome.
Elsewhere, Beaker is gaining on Jord.
He is
Coming
indeed.
down slowly, but he's got 4-lap fresher tyres, so Jord's tyres are coming towards the end of their life.
Yeah, Jordan's going to be struggling now.
Well, Jord could still pit and come out in third and have the ultras, but I think hypers. But I think he might have left it a smidge too late.
I think he has. Oh, Beaker there. I don't know if you saw that, but he really rode that first corner.
So let's look at fuel lights. So I've noticed Beaker was on yellow.
One thing I would say about Beaker though, with it in regards to the fuel, is
Yeah,
Beaker. Yeah, he is the fuel management god. I don't know how he does it, but he always seems to just cross the line and then run out of fuel.
Lift and coast, baby.
Lift and coast.
So he's got it down to less than a second as we're coming towards 11 and 12, and then the DRS zone. He's just got to stay with them through here and not go wibbly wobbly on the exit at 12.
Bippity boppity boo.
Bit of a corner cut, gets away with it, and DRS. It's too far back, but he'll. Yeah, he's still 0.7.
And he only seems to be closing that gap even more, so I think realistically, maybe not the first DRS section, but the second one, I think he's going to have him.
Oh, probably not if he does things like that.
He's still. He's actually a lot closer than I expected him to be as a result of that.
He's still 0.6. Now he's down to 0.4, so coming to the first turns. Jord looks like he got a bit of an oversteer coming out of that.
Yeah.
He's gone defensive. Realises Beaker's too far back to make a move.
So Beaker running in dirty air. The S turn is the bit before the next DRS section. Beaker is also looking a little bit wobbly. Not sure whether or not he's actually going to survive the S turn. I'm going to call it here. If he survives this S turn, then he will take Jordan, and he will go on to be P2 at the end of this race. But he needs to be so careful. Oh, 3-second penalty. But it's not the end of the world. I think he can do it. I think he can do it. Once he's past Jordan, I think he can build that 3-second gap. But this is the bit where it matters.
Careful, BK, you won't get another penalty. He stayed with him, and he's
held it.
DRS.
Look at the gap he's closing on him. He's going for the inside dive. He's done it. Clean it. It was only a little kiss there. Nothing too major. I think they're fine.
If you're George, would you now pit?
No.
Just in case.
No.
No.
No, definitely not. So the car behind him isn't Max. The car behind him is Flaff. He is pitting. Okay, well, he's doing it. I think he knows he's left there a bit too much, but I wouldn't pit not with 2 laps to go. But now,
nothing to lose, has he?
Well, he does, because all he has to do is just be within a few seconds of Beaker, and he'll still get P2.
Yeah, but
whereas now he's pit. He was, but in order to gain 5 seconds in 2 laps, Jordan would have to make quite a huge mistake. And I think, I think from Jordan's perspective now, he's really put himself in a position where he's handed P2 over to Beaker.
It's only a 3-second penalty.
I suppose it's best to finish than not finish. But we are second to last lap. And Vanier, who's had a miracle drive on his 15-lap-old softs, all he's got to do is just take it easy and cruise it on home. And considering the nightmare of a qualifying he had when he crashed out on the end of the second S's, to go from dead last up to P1 is incredible. He's done a phenomenal job. He's coming up the home straight now to start the last lap, and we'll do a little cheeky ride along as he brings home the Australian Grand Prix victory to symbolise the end of the first Rwagnation Online League Grand Prix.
I don't think it's worth asking, but who do you think the driver of the day is?
It's got to be Vanier, hasn't it? Really, let's be truthfully honest. He had the worst qualifying you could ever ask for. Had an incredible start to the race. Then his strategy was what made it different.
Turn 12, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if he can make it past turn 12. He only has to do it one more time though.
It's flashing red, so that should be fine. That just means he's got a lap of fuel left. Here we go.
He's taking it gently. Yeah, he knows I can't afford to lose any tyres here.
Beaker's taking a bit more racy, but still quite soft and careful. So yes, driver of the day, Vanier.
Absolutely. And second closest driver of the day is Beaker. He's also had a really good race and very cleanly done throughout the Grand Prix. But more importantly, the Red Bull driver takes home his first Rwagnation Online League Championship victory. Congratulations, Vanier. Red Bull will be very happy with that. Beaker will come home and take P2, and Jordan, who had a really solid first 3/4 of the race, just struggled on the last section. Couldn't bring it home. Is now, but he will finish off the podium position. So Mercedes will be glad to have a driver on the podium, but
he sets fast laps go with it.
Like a champ. So style points there for Jordan. Max bringing it home in P4. Gooby. Now Gooby has got a lot of penalties, so is John going to get out in front of Gooby? Because he is within the 8 seconds. Crosses the line. I think Gooby is still ahead.
Can't see what it says on his dash. Let's have a look then.
Here you have it. The podium finishes. Vanier on pole position, hoisting the trophy into the air. And now the best bit, the champagne spray. He'll be very happy with that victory. And it's solid drive by Vanier. Unbelievable strategy from his strategist team. And just all around great day for Red Bull. Congratulations. There we have it. First race has been completed.